Good morning. The other day we have seen how Section 34 applies even if the co-accused did not commit any overt act. Now, today, I would like to discuss with you the judgment pertaining to 149 IPC. The AR 2020 Supreme Court 1217 Duleshwar and another versus State of MP, now Chhattisgarh. It's a case of A.M. Kanvilkar and Dinesh Maheshwari G. Case of 302, 147, 148, 149, 325 and section 3 and 11 of the Indian Evidence Act. They have deeply discussed about unlawful assembly because so far main accused are concerned. There are multi-number of accused. All are convicted by the lower court, affirmed by the High Court and Supreme Court also confirmed the sentence and judgment. But however acquitted 8 and accused 14. And they have rejected the claim of the appellants that the facts and circumstances should be within the 304 Part 2 or Part 1. The case of the prosecution was there was a dispute in respect of fields, demarcation of ridge between A14 and PW1. Civil suits were pending and on the fateful day 15/10/1988 at about 4:30 to 5 p.m. accused were armed with weapons, assaulted Dhanvaram Parvati, who was passerby. After seeing this, informed his relatives, and finally he sustained multiple injuries and resulted the death. The prosecution examined 21 witnesses and the cross examination of the judgment may be deeply looked into because several cross examination area has been summarized and discussed. You can understand how the defense counsels are elicited certain facts by cross examining. Then you see cross examine. I do not know name of any of the accused person. In my police statement, I did not tell the name of any of the accused person who assaulted on which part of the disease. This is elicitation of cross examination. Again, the other cross examination, all these things you can go through it. That is not important to discuss here because I am only particular about 149. Near about 18 injuries were noticed of deceased Govind Singh. Trial court framed 6 issues and finally the case was convicted. But here the Supreme Court so far 307 is concerned, since the intention was not proved, they have altered the sentence to 325 IPC. Therefore, conviction was ordered under section 222 CRPC, which enables the court to reduce or alter the charges and convict if that altered offence is lesser than the offence which was framed under the chapter charge. Then I would like to go through this particular paragraph for your kind. They say the basic ingredients for invoking section 149 IPC, member of being a member of armed unlawful assembly. Whether formation of such unlawful assembly is established, a large assembly was indeed formed where the members were armed with weapons including lathis and tangias. They indulged in assault over going sick. That was they say. They referred AR 1899 SC 754. That is most important case wherein question of specific role of an individual member of assembly is rendered secondary once formation of unlawful assembly is proved. That was they say. That is most important. Multiple accused persons, several eyewitnesses, principle for appreciation of evidence. They have discussed about Masalti versus State of UP 1964-8, SCR 133, AR 1965, SC 202. Same was reiterated in Chandrasekhar blind bin case, AR 2001, SC 4024. So those judgments may be referred when you are entered into defend the accused when trial is against a multi number of accused. Then Vinay Kumar Singh versus State of Bihar, AR 1997, SC 322 were discussed. Individual cases were discussed here. Every evidence against every accused was discussed. But finally, what had happened? A8 is concerned. How A8 was acquitted is, see, the name of the accused was not properly available on record and in evidence. They say one name Hemu was occurred in the re-examination of P5 Prasad Yadav, but not specifically name of this accused Kemura. The prosecution has not taken any steps to clarify if there was any discrepancy in regard to statement of this witness PW5. No other eyewitness has named this accused. Therefore, and the lathi recovered from this accused did not contain blood stains. Therefore, they have set aside the conviction of this accused. Then again, so far A13 is concerned, he was acquitted. There also they say the PW5 stated his name in re-examination, but no other eyewitness named him as one of the member of the mob. Then they say the recovered lathi under 27 recovery did not contain blood stains. Therefore, that apart when the alibi was claimed, that area they have not discussed because they have not accepted. Since specifically of alibi has not pleaded, so then they have acquitted this appellant also. And finally they say in part 1 of 304 they have not accepted because the evidence is clearly established that lacerated wounds, contusions, multiple fracture of various bones, ribs. He died due to shock with rupture of liver and fracture of ribs because multiple lynching was there. Therefore, he died. So they have confirmed the judgment of the lower court and the high court. So this judgment is very helpful for all of you because you can understand what how to reduce the sentence by altering the charges, what 149, how to deal with 149 and how to distinguish the accused for acquittal with the available evidence. Very deep, elaborate attempt was made by the defense counsels who argued. Best wishes, kindly go through the judgment.